Since October 7, 2023 and the start of the Gaza war, Germany has entered one of its most sensitive political and legal periods. A country that considers support for Israel part of its national interest immediately sided with Tel Aviv and declared that it would tolerate no form of antisemitism or support for terrorism. But as Israel's attacks against civilians expanded and war crime allegations were raised against Netanyahu, this policy reached a point where the line between protecting security and suppressing freedom of expression in Germany became deeply blurred. In Berlin, only a few hours after the Hamas attack, the first small pro-Palestinian gatherings were held, gatherings that were met with rapid police intervention, arrests, and stern warnings from senior officials. The government quickly banned Hamas activity and any form of advocacy or symbols associated with it. And in the following days, nearly all pro-Palestinian demonstrations between 7 and 19 October were cancelled. Even wearing a keffiyeh or chanting "from the river to the sea" could result in arrest, a slogan that in some federal states was classified as a terrorist symbol, enabling prosecutors to pursue criminal charges. Cases such as Eva Moayeri, who was arrested after chanting the slogan and whose home was later searched on charges of supporting terrorism, became emblematic of this security-driven atmosphere. At the same time, deportation policies intensified. In some cases, a single post, a phrase, or even a like on social media was enough to trigger removal proceedings. Groups such as Samidun were banned, the homes of Palestinian activists were raided, and in June 2024 a law was passed, allowing the deportation of individuals accused of praising terrorism, even without a criminal conviction. Human rights organizations inside and outside Germany described this trend as a systematic suppression of opponents of Israel. The Heinrich Böll Foundation wrote that many Muslims and migrants feel they no longer recognize their country as the suffering of Gaza's civilians is ignored in German media, and peaceful protests are met with harsh policing. The Unicorn Riot report documented more than 760 incidents of repression, from detaining children for carrying Palestinian flags to shutting down the Palestinian Congress in Berlin, while Germany remained the second largest arms exporter to Israel during the same period. The outcome has been the creation of an environment in which criticism of Israeli actions is effectively equated with antisemitism or support for terrorism, and solidarity with Palestine becomes a risky endeavor. Yet despite all restrictions, the presence of 60,000 people in Germany's largest pro-Palestine demonstration in June 2025 showed that German society is far from unanimous and that a significant segment still stands for freedom of expression and universal human rights. Today, Germany is confronted not merely with a political or social crisis, but with a fundamental question about the nature of its democracy. To what extent can it balance political support for Israel with the protection of its citizens' basic freedoms? For when geopolitical priorities overshadow human rights principles, not only does anti-Semitism fail to diminish, but Islamophobia, social exclusion, and polarization intensify, developments that may ultimately shape the future trajectory of German democracy.